How do you do? Jen and Cam feel it would be unkind to present this program without a friendly word of warning. We are about to unfold our true crime podcast, a podcast of lifelong friends who seek to examine crimes which were committed without reckoning upon God. The discussion will be frank, and the subject matter will be of a grim and violent nature. I think it will thrill you. It might even horrify you. So, if there are young children listening, or if you feel unwilling to subject your nerves to such a strain, now's your chance to, well, we've warned you.
Hi, Jen.
Hey, Cam, how are ya?
I'm fantabulous. How are you?
I'm fine. I've got to admit, I've got a little post-holiday blues, so I'm excited for you to get us back onto the
track.
True crime bandwagon. Yeah, I'm ready to...
The older you get, the more set into a routine you are, you know? And, like, I find that if I don't have stuff to do, then I do nothing.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And that's terrible. That is a bad thing, right?
And then all you want to do is do nothing. You never want to come out
I've watched so much TV, I can't even tell you.
Oh, good.
Can't even tell you.
Well, tell us about what you have for us today, and then we'll talk afterwards about your TV.
We'll do our
such.
case. Yes. Jen?
Yes?
Today, we're staying in the States, and we are going to the beautiful state of Texas.
Texas?
Right?
We have friends in Texas.
Of course we do.
Mm-hmm.
We are venturing to the college town of College Station, Texas, home of Texas A&M. Go Aggies.
Woo-hoo.
They like the simple things. Of course, they're college students, right? So they like studying, partying.
They don't like studying. Don't lie.
Well, you're supposed to if you go to college, so I just threw that in there. Because,
okay.
You know, you're supposed to be learning something for the most part. Okay, here we go. They like simple things like studying, partying, and football. They also like getting to meet new people who share similar interests, especially if that interest is Aggie football.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows Texas loves
football.
I mean, they are Friday Night Lights. That's where that movie book comes from. Kerry Kujawa is a 20-year-old engineering major at the university, and just like a lot of other students, he has a 21-year-old girlfriend named Kelly McCauley. Now, they were just like any other college student couple. Cute, carefree, working hard to get good grades, graduate while having a little fun in between, right? They were, however, unlike most couples in one aspect. The two had never actually met. Now, today in 2021, meeting people online is pretty commonplace. It's pretty regular. But back in 2000, which is when this took place, this was a little bit different, right? So they were a little bit unique in that aspect. The two had met in a chat room called the Aggie Channel, where they talked about what they both loved more than anything else, Aggie sports. While Kelly was studying pre-law at the college, she was a bit of a computer geek. The chat was actually created by Kelly, and since the two of them started to get to know each other, the 4 months have been flown by. They had a great time dating online, their online relationship, if you will. And they actually met in that chat room. She was outgoing and she liked outdoor activities, and Kelly came from a well-to-do family in Texas. By Kerry's standards, she was near perfect. Kerry was a super smart, popular guy who had a great sense of humor, and he didn't have to work very hard for his grades. He was one of those people that are so fortunate that it just doesn't require a lot of studying. They kind of just soak it all in. They don't have to study too hard and get great grades, unlike you and I, Jen. He was athletic and charming, and he had a lot of friends. The couple were falling in love and seemed like a perfect match. There was just one thing. Since they had never met in person, they had actually never even talked on the phone. They had only communicated in the chat room. Now, Kerry had asked over and over to meet up with Kelly, but the timing just didn't seem to work out ever, right? It seems Kelly was maybe not being completely honest with Kerry. Didn't see that coming, did we now?
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm. Kelly was not in College Station like she had said she was with Kerry. It seems Kelly had moved back home with her parents in San Antonio. She had previously mentioned an ex-boyfriend and that they didn't have a very good breakup. So she went on to tell Kerry what she had not told him, and that was that her ex-boyfriend beat her up brutally. And she had left school for that semester to not only recover, but to get away from him. She was scared of him, the boyfriend, right? The ex-boyfriend, rather. Her injuries were so severe that her jaw was wired shut. And this was why she had not met Kerry, but actually not even talked to him on the phone. So with that revelation, of course, Kerry, he was shocked, angry. He was on fire that somebody would do this to this girl that he just adores. He informs her that this is it. This is not going to happen again, and I am coming to San Antonio. I'm going to come and get you. I'm going to spend the weekend with you. I just want to see you. I want to meet you, and I want to make sure you're okay. Kelly says, please don't. This could be big problems. Kelly begged Kerry not to come down because if her ex found out that she was seeing somebody and that he had shown up on her door, she was fearful that he would probably kill both of them. Well, Kerry was like, I don't care. This bully is not going to scare me off, and I'm coming down to San Antonio, and I'm coming this weekend. Well, what are you going to do?
Nice.
Right? He's a nice guy. He's cute, too. But, I think everybody's cute, so whatever. On Friday, April 7th, 2000, Kerry packs up and he heads out to go to San Antonio to be with Kelly. Kerry told his roommate, Charlie, that he would be back on Monday sometime. So, no fear. I'll be back for class. Might miss a class or two on Monday, but that's okay. Monday came and went, and Kerry was not back. Now, his roommate was not initially worried because, as I said earlier, Kerry was really intelligent. School came to him very easy, but he also took it very serious. So he would never purposely jeopardize his schooling for a girl.
Mm.
And they knew if he missed a few days of class, it'd be fine. He would be able to make it up. He was a great student after all. Even if Kerry's roommate was a little bit worried, it wasn't for too long because an email came in from Kerry to his roommate assuring him that they, Kelly and Kerry, were having the time of their life. And in fact, he's going to be staying a few more days with Kelly. Now, Kerry also mentioned to his roommate, he said, since I'm away, Kelly's little brother, his name's Isaac, he actually wants to come and check out A&M. He's thinking about going there. And so since I'm going to be absent down here, I thought it would be okay if we give Isaac my bed in the dorm room. And he can kind of use that as a home base as he's looking around Texas A&M, right? Of course, the roommate doesn't care, so that's fine. Isaac shows up, and he and Kerry's roommate, they get along pretty good. They kind of hang out and do some stuff on campus and things like that. So a few days pass and Isaac goes home, but Kerry is still not back from his visit with Kelly. Kerry's roommate calls his parents and they say they haven't heard from Kerry either, but they've talked to him every day via email and that he's having a great time with Kelly and all is well. So they're not too worried, but they do ask Kerry's roommate to, hey, can you remind him to give his loving parents a call when he gets back? We just want to make sure he's okay, right?
Yeah. Good to check in, especially if you're meeting somebody that nobody else knows and the one that you've met over the internet.
Thank you. Just a week later in Dripping Springs, Texas. It's always how it goes, Jen. A farmer's riding along the edges of the farm, riding the perimeter of his farm, if you will. When he
checking it out,
spots something strange. But as he approaches, the smell is what lets this farmer, because he's kind of used to this as a farmer, know that is the smell of decay. As the farmer approaches the area, it appears to be a blue blanket lying on top of something. He goes over, he kind of slightly removes the blanket a little bit. Underneath is a decomposed body. Investigators are called to investigate in this small community, which is located about 130 miles from the campus of A&M. The body is that of a male wearing a t-shirt and no shoes. The body has decomposed so much that they were unable to tell either the age or the race of the victim. There was no wallet or any other items that would help identify the person, but the person was still wearing their watch, so obviously it was not a robbery. The method of death was not readily available since the body was so decomposed. It would actually take an autopsy to figure out what happened. It looked as if the victim was killed elsewhere and then dumped at this location because there were no blood marks. There were no blood splotches, splatters, nothing, right? It was obviously the person had been killed elsewhere and dumped. A few days later, autopsy results come back, and it was determined that the cause of death was a .22 caliber gunshot wound to the back of the head. It was a male victim, believed to be somewhere between the ages of the early 20s to early 30s. Since he was shot in the back of the head and only shot once, authorities believe that this was an attack that the victim never saw coming. Police log in, and they want to check to see if there's any reports of any missing people in the area, even in the state.
Right.
Nothing. Nobody's been reported missing, so they come up empty-handed with that search. It is now April 21st, and sensing that something was not quite right, Kerry's roommate would relay his worries to the RA. Two of them talk, and they know what they need to do. They need to call police. So they start off with the campus police, and they go visit the campus police, and they report to them the timeline of when he left, where he went, who's talked to him, the emails, and such like that. The campus police put out a bulletin, and they also call Kerry's parents, and they ask Kerry's parents to file a missing persons report. It wouldn't take too long before they get a hit from the Hays County Sheriff's Office. Detective Williams from the Sheriff's Department makes the very heartbreaking call to Kerry's family to say that they did find a body, and they suspect that it very well could be their son, Kerry. Dental records from Kerry confirmed their worst fears, that the body found was that of 20-year-old Kerry Kujawa. A missing person is now a homicide investigation, but what they do not know yet is who would want to kill this well-liked college student. You know, he's not one of the ones that would be at high risk, if you will.
Right.
Police head over to talk to Kerry's roommate. Kerry's roommate tells the officers that Kerry had a girlfriend named Kelly and that they met online in a chat room. He also tells them that Kelly used to be an A&M student, but is now at home because of her psychotic ex-boyfriend who brutally beat her up. Officers are now starting to wonder perhaps maybe that ex did do what she said that he may, and maybe he did find out that Kerry was seeing Kelly and went and killed Kerry. Police need to take his computer in for more investigation, and they need to find and talk to this Kelly person. Police dive in and they try to find a 21-year-old by the name of Kelly McCauley in San Antonio. Can't be that hard, right?
It can't be.
Well, it is, because guess what? There is actually no one by this name living in San Antonio. What?
Whoever would have thought, Camille.
Yeah, right? On a whim, officers decide to go straight to the source, and they log into the Aggie chat room, hoping to speak with Kelly. They're hoping maybe she was logged in there, or if she wasn't logged in, they could get some information about her. And boy, did they hit pay dirt. They learned that many of the chat room visitors had also had a relationship going on with Kelly. She was conducting a lot of online relationships.
Catfishing, it seems, right? Kind of, sort of.
One of these people was a young man by the name of Scott Schneider. Police questioned Scott, and they're looking to gather some more information about the ever elusive Kelly. Scott tells officers that he and Kelly built the chat room together, actually. And during that time, they started growing close. You know, they're kind of flirting with each other and kind of liking each other. All online, of course. So after chatting for a little bit over 2 months, Scott wanted to meet Kelly, but she would always refuse to meet him. Scott kept the pressure on, and finally, she agreed to go to an Aggie football game with him. Woohoo! Right? Finally, he gets to meet her.
Yay.
The big day came, and Kelly couldn't go. Something came up, but she did send her brother Isaac there to meet with Scott. So Isaac goes to the game with Scott, and even though the two had a lot of fun, it was not quite the love date, the love match, if you will, that Scott had envisioned that he would have with Kelly, right? They still talked. He wasn't giving up on her yet, but he was kind of like getting a little frustrated. So he's like, listen, if we're going to date, we need to meet. This is kind of getting ridiculous. So Kelly agrees.
Right.
Let's go ahead and meet. Let's have a date at this lake. It's called Medina Lake. We're going to meet there. We're going to have a nice little date. So Scott arrives and he looks around and he never can find Kelly. She's not there. So he gives up and he goes home.
She stood him up.
Yep. He gives up.
Ghosted
he goes
him.
home and he was like, that's it. I'm done. So he quit chatting with her altogether. He ended it right there. Police asked Scott about Kerry. Scott says he doesn't really know anything about Kerry, but he did know that he took Scott's place in the relationship with Kelly. He kind of fell in line after Scott. to date Kelly. Now, since Kelly is such a friendly girl, officers wonder if one of these other guys perhaps became jealous of Kerry and Kelly, right? And just wanted him out of the way, and perhaps they, killed poor Kerry. A lot of K names in here. There's even another Kerry coming up, spelled differently. Officers are pretty much confused. They don't really know what's going on. They're still trying to put all the pieces together. When lo and behold, they locate Kelly's car. It was the car that he was driving when he disappeared. However, it wasn't in San Antonio, which is where he was supposed to be with Kelly. It was instead in a long-term parking lot at the Easterwood Airport, which is located right by A&M campus. Say what? Right? A ticket inside the car was stamped on April 10th, which was the Monday Kerry was expected to report back to school after that long weekend and failed to do so. You know what's coming next. Officers approach the trunk.
I do.
They're unsure what they're going to find. We've all heard way too often what happens. They slowly open the trunk, and thankfully, Kerry's body is not inside, or anybody else's body. There's no body in there, rather. But there is some blood stains. Samples are taken on scene and would come back positive as Kerry's blood, meaning that whoever killed Kerry used his own car to transport the body. Here comes another lead, and it walks straight into the door of the police department in the form of a 57-year-old man named, again, Kerry Lee. Different Kerry, spelled differently. Still a male named Kerry. Stay with me on this. And he was a sometimes moderator on the Aggie chat room site. The man said he came forward after hearing about Kerry's murder. The man tells police that Kelly would often talk about her new boyfriend and how they met at the Alamo Bowl game. Screech! Say what? That's right. Kerry's roommate had told police that Kerry had never met Kelly in person and was excited to go to San Antonio that weekend to do just that. The man did give police a disc of all the files he had saved from the chat room, hoping it would assist them in the investigation, which is pretty unusual. I guess, I don't know. This was 2000. Remember I asked you about chat rooms and if they still exist, really, but to save everything. It's now been 2 weeks since police had been looking for Kelly and hanging out in the chat room, hoping she would pop online, when the phone rings with an interesting development. Kelly had went online to tell all her friends in the online chat group that she had some exciting news, Jen. Big news, really big news.
Really big
really
news?
Big. She was so happy because her and Kerry are getting engaged.
Wow. That's exciting.
Okay.
Does he know this? I don't
think he does because he's dead.
Exactly.
Right? So at this point, all of them already knew Kerry had been murdered and was most definitely not alive, much less engaged. So now Kelly, the whole investigation is starting to shift, right? Like, who is Kelly? Where is Kelly? And what the heck happened? Police are now wondering if Kelly could be this cruel. Could she also be the reason Kerry is dead? Thankfully, they don't have to wonder long because they find Kelly McCauley alive and well, Jen, in Austin, Texas.
They do?
They do. Thank you. Investigators race to talk to her and find out just what the heck's going on. They knock on the door and a woman answers, who does not match the photo that they had of Kelly, that they had taken off her computer, her computer log-on avatar, whatever you call it, picture. They ask her what her name is, and it is, in fact, Kelly McCauley. They ask her if she has a brother named Isaac, and nope, she does not. Does she know a man by the name of Kerry Kujawa? Nope, never heard of him. This was Kelly McCauley, but not the Kelly McCauley they hoped they would find. The Kelly McCauley, if you will. Desperate to get a new angle and a lead on the case, Texas A&M decide to put out a reward for information regarding Kerry. The tips start flying in, many from other people who had used the chat room. So police run a list of all the used logons, all their names associated, and, they're pairing them with people. So your logon name with your real life name, and then your contact information, be your phone number, or however it is that they had that set up. Kelly's logon, which was like Kelly_McCauley, for instance, doesn't come back to a real person named Kelly McCauley. It comes back to a 31-year-old man by the name of Kenny Wayne Lockwood. So here's a new person in the mix.
This is confusing.
It is confusing. Knock, knock. Time to go pay a visit to Kenny. So police go to San Antonio, and they arrive, and they knock on the door, And to their surprise, a middle-aged woman answers the door. She informs them that Kenny is their son and that he lives with her, but he's not home at the moment. Kenny, it seems, is he's in really poor health, and he has to make regular trips to the hospital. He's at the hospital at this moment receiving some insulin treatment, but he's had major health issues since his teen years, right? His mother claims that she's never heard of the name Kelly or Kerry or Isaac, and that they obviously have the wrong person. Maybe they did, and, maybe they did not. They had a plan B, though, Jen. Now, remember, Kelly's brother Isaac came to stay with Kerry's roommate while he was in San Antonio. Now, her brother Isaac also went to the game with Scott, that other person she was dating, remember? So they decide to do a little photo lineup, if you will, to show Kerry's roommate as well as Scott. Here's 6 people. Can you pick out Isaac? He picked out the photo right away of Kelly's brother Isaac. Just to make sure, officers head over to Scott's place, see if he can do the same thing. Sure does, and he points to Kelly's brother Isaac. Although Isaac has another name, and that name would be Kenny Wayne Lockwood. What? Are you with me? Lots of names going on, right?
That's names.
Right? It'll come together for you here in a minute. Jen, there was no Isaac, and there was no Kelly. On April 26, 2000, police returned to the Lockwood house, and they deliver a warrant. Kenny, at this time, is in the hospital. He's actually staying in the hospital. And the police are pressuring him and his mom to come clean. The mom is adamant that Kenny was with her that whole weekend that Kerry went missing. Well, okay. Explain to officers then how they have video of Kenny Wayne Lockwood on campus on the day that he was supposed to be with his mother, right? They have video of him on the A&M campus, the day that he went to go stay with Kerry's roommate for a day or two, remember? Oops. Yep. She's lying. Mom's lying. She admits she's lying. She was covering for him. So they go back to Kenny in the hospital, and they're trying to get him to crack. Tell us the truth. We know you're involved in this. We just don't know how. We haven't put it together. Kenny breaks, and he admits that he is, in fact, Kelly. He's also Isaac. He simply made up the names and began flirting with guys he would meet online. He would string them along, and after a while of never meeting, because he would always, as Kelly would refuse to meet them, they would give up. But not Kerry. Kerry just became more determined to meet Kelly, the love of his wife. Kenny tells officers that when Kerry arrived that day, he tried to tell him to go. He was saying, Kelly's really stressed out with the boyfriend, all this. Maybe you should just leave. And Kerry was like, do you know how far I drove? This is like a 2-hour plus drive. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here. Kenny as Isaac, because he was portraying himself as Isaac at this point, was trying to, get him to do things, other things. Maybe we should head out. Kerry's like, no, I want to meet Kelly. Where is she? Oh, Kelly's getting ready. She's in the bathroom. She's getting ready. So then Kenny's like, my dad got me this new gun. You want to see it? And Kerry, being nice, but getting a little impatient, is finally like, yeah, I guess. Kenny gets up, goes in the other room, comes back in, and shoots Kerry in the back of the head, just once. To avoid getting blood all over his mom's carpet, right?
I'm sorry. I
know. Like, what?
Oh, my gosh.
He takes a plastic bag, like a grocery bag, and puts it over Kerry's head. And then he wraps Kenny's body up in a blanket and puts him in the back of his own car, Kerry's own car. Kenny then drove to that remote area that would be the dumping ground in Dripping Springs, where he would place Kerry's body. He then drove Kerry's car back to campus, where he visited Kerry's roommate as Isaac, Kelly's fake brother, right? He went in there, hung out with him, and just to be able to, I don't know, to be able to portray that lie after you just murdered somebody and you're going to stay with the roommate, that's really cold.
He had more respect for his mother's carpet than he did for his.
He sure did. He sure did. Once he was inside the dorm room and met Kerry's roommate, who had class that day, so he let him be for a while, Isaac jumped on Kerry's computer and erased all of the emails and correspondence he could find between, quote, Kelly and Kerry. When he was finished, he drove the car back to the airport where he took a flight back to San Antonio. The name Kelly McCauley was actually a girl that Kenny had went to school with. She claims she never knew Kenny, but police kind of think that somehow Kenny had some weird, I guess, fascination, obsession with her by using her persona, her name and all that.
He would have had to have.
And she claims she doesn't. She knew she went to school with him. She knew the name, but she says she doesn't ever really recall meeting him, much less knowing him, right? Kenny Wayne Lockwood was arrested in the murder of Kerry Kujawa. But sadly, Jen, Kerry's family would never get the justice that they deserved or wanted. Just weeks before his trial was set to begin, Kenny was found dead in his cell from suicide. He had cut his wrist. You could pretty much guess what happened. I mean, Kenny killed Kerry because he knew that if Kerry realized that he had been portraying Kelly, he would be furious, right? And I guess not knowing what else to do, he thought the only way out was to kill Kerry, which obviously that's never the right answer.
There's so many other ways out. So many.
And, you know, we've heard over and over again about the cases of catfishing. Right. But this was extreme.
A bit.
Obviously. And that is the case of...
Don't lie, people. Why lie? I don't...
And
what was even the whole point of that? Why was he trolling men online?
Boredom.
What was the point?
If you watched MTV's catfishing show, which of course I've seen and probably everybody else has too, a lot of times with these people that do the catfishing, they have something wrong with them. And I don't just mean, but I don't mean like mental issues, which obviously they do, but they, you know, either they have a health problem or they're obese or there's something that like makes them have to stay at home a lot. And with Kenny, you know, he was sick. He was sick from his teenage years. He couldn't hold a job. He couldn't work. He's 31 years old and still lives with his mom. So I wonder if it's boredom. I don't know why you would portray somebody else. I don't understand.
But don't get that either.
People do it all the time. I know because I have Facebook Messenger from lots of friends.
Yeah, I don't even accept those.
Who I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't even accept those friend requests at all.
So that's the story
unreal.
Of catfishing. And yeah, it's pretty bad. So
Carrie's family, my heart goes out to them. That's awful.
You send your kid to college to have fun. You know, you don't ever think that would happen. And that could have all been avoided. Like Kenny could have just answered the door and said, Kelly's not here. Kelly doesn't want to see you again. Right. Whatever.
Kelly hates
Carrie
you.
would have left.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Kelly's new boyfriend. or whatever. I mean, there's a million other ways that could have been handled.
Oh, but thank God his mom's carpet was spared.
Whatever.
Lord have mercy.
What a jerk.
Interesting. That was very, very interesting.
So, how were your holidays, Jen? This is a little bit shorter case, so how were your holidays, okay?
My holidays were okay. It was very quiet, more quiet than normal. And on one hand, I really liked that. Not any stress to go to extra family's house and all the whatnot, but was also kind of sad and
eerie,
boring.
A little bit.
Eerie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank God.
I agree.
I, for the most part, like my husband and kids, so that made it a bit easier.
For the most part.
But normally during the holiday season, my husband takes off from Christmas to New Year's, and we go out and we do fun stuff. Couldn't do it, so...
And not to mention, he's been at home since March.
I know, exactly.
Probably like, I don't want to spend extra time with you.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
But gave us a chance to catch up on our movies and TV shows and such like that, which I know you have been doing. What have you been watching?
That's always what I do. I watched Bridgerton.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yep. I believe I just heard that they're going to do the whole 8-book series now since Bridgerton has taken on. Listen to me.
Good. Tooken on.
My grammar's real good since it has taken off. Yeah. And you like the one boy, right? The Duke.
I want to marry him. I think I love him.
I started it, but my head wasn't in it because
We kind of have to pay attention a little bit. It's a period drama, but it's nice. You know, I mean, it's not anything really heavy so it was a good Saturday afternoon. I watched I Am Your Woman. I think that's what it's called. And it was a delightful surprise, I must say, because I was like, whatever. And it opens and it takes place in the 70s. And I'm talking the rockin', hip. You would love it just for design. Because it opens and everything's yellow in the kitchen. And I was like, what is this? Because I didn't know. Sometimes I like watching a movie and not knowing anything about it. And I didn't know anything. But it's kind of a thriller. And it was good.
And
like,
what was
I really
it again?
enjoyed it. I Am Your Woman. And it's on Amazon.
Huh. I'll have to watch it.
It's like a crime thriller kind of. Takes place in the 70s. And a lot of times you can kind of guess everything. And this was different. So I liked it. Check it out.
This, the
Amazon,
girl that I'm
you can
talking...
send me a check.
Okay, sorry. The girl I was talking about, her name is Nicola Coughlan. And she played Penelope Featherington.
Yeah, I figured that's who that was. Yeah.
She's darling. She's cute. The
She has
Dairy Girls.
bright red hair, and she's like the shorter, more portly girl in there.
But she's not. That's the thing. She's just not. She's
Well,
probably
I
a
think
size 6, and the rest
for
of the
her
cast
character,
are
though,
000.
Yeah, for her character, though, that works because, and I can't tell you why, but yeah.
But no, in the Dairy Girls, I loved it. It's one of the funniest. It made me laugh the entire time. I totally suggest watching it. It's all Irish accents. It's set in Ireland during the 90s. And
I won't do my fake Irish accent
Please
because
don't.
Nico would just cut it out.
yeah, please don't do it. But anyway, it's the Dairy Girls is funny. And I'm going to try to catch up on Bridgerton this week.
That's good. Watch that.
And then I'll watch the I Am Woman.
Yeah, and that's a movie. That's just a movie. So you could knock that out in 2 hours.
We watched a movie with Wolf, the kid from Upside Down. Wolf. I think his name's Wolf. Fern. Your daughter had a crush on him.
Oh, it's Wolfhard.
Yes.
Yeah, Cutie Pie.
Yeah, he was in a movie called The Turning, and I don't even know what channel it is, but we watched it last night, and it had some good parts in it, but it was kind of really disappointing.
What was it based on? Was that based on The Turning of the Screw? It wasn't, was it?
I don't think so. Maybe it could have been because it was a nanny that comes to...
yeah, that's Turning of the Screw.
Yeah, but it wasn't even as good as the last Netflix murder with the girls with the bad accents. I forgot what that even is. I can't even remember anymore.
You can't remember anything.
I can't.
We're like, hey,
Trust
listen
me.
to Cam and Jen give recommendations. It's got that one guy in it. It's got the one guy. Oh, it's got that girl in it that's in Dairy Girl.
I liked that one thing.
I really like that one
channel.
movie. It's got that one guy. Yeah, this is like with remember how my dad used to do that all the time?
Yeah. Well,
you know what I'm talking about.
Here's the deal for everybody. I'm
not.
not 100%. Yesterday I was not feeling well at all. Today I have a headache. So I'm not at my best today, but I'm trying hard.
I'm at my best every day.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. But we watched a lot of stuff, but I can't tell you what I did because I really don't remember. Short-term memory, girl.
Boy, yeah.
So
watch that one movie. So
on that one channel with that one girl.
With that one girl.
From that one show with that one guy.
With the dark hair. You know, that one. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You know, he wore that purple sweater and that one thing.
Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's my favorite.
Me too, right?
I love him the most.
Got anything going on this week? I do. Our new baby kitty is getting spayed on Tuesday. That's going to be a thing. She's the sweetest, cutest thing. I love her so much. She's just adorable. So I'm off work Tuesday, and I had no idea on Friday. They made fun of me. I had no idea that I have a half day on this upcoming Friday, and I am off Monday because it's a holiday. I had no idea.
Wow.
That made my month.
Wow.
I know.
That's cool. I don't even follow that anymore since our kids are doing virtual classes.
Mm-hmm. Well, if it wasn't quarantine, I would go somewhere, but it can't.
Exactly.
It is. So,
yeah. Good times.
Do we have a promo this week?
The promo we have this week is from our friend Dr. Jules at Riddle Me That podcast.
Riddle Me That.
I'm on a true crime Twitter DM thing, and Dr. Jules is fantastic. Totally love her.
Is she a real doctor?
Yeah, she is a wonderful person. I absolutely love her. She just did a series about the Maura Murray podcast, or about Maura Murray's case, I should say. And it's very interesting. Everybody should go listen to it.
Good to know. Good to know. I'll check it out. But anyway, Jen, it was good to be back.
It is great.
It's good.
I hope
good to
all
be
of
here.
I hope all of you that are listening had a great holiday.
Me as well. I mean, I hope you did as well. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. All right.
But until then, Jen, remember, lock your doors.
And keep passing by those open windows.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Today's episode was researched and written by me, Cam. For more information about this episode, as well as all the sources I used, please check out our show notes or the podcast website at ourtruecrimepodcast.com. Our True Crime Podcast is developed and created by hosts Jen and Cam. Original music and audio mix of all our True Crime Podcast episodes is courtesy of Nico Vertesi from We Talk of Dreams. Listener discretion is provided by Edward October from October Pod VHS. Our True Crime Podcast is executive produced by Nico Vertesi and Dick Bain. Make sure to like and subscribe to Our True Crime Podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. We can be reached on Instagram and Facebook at Our True Crime Podcast or on Twitter at Our True Crime Pod. You can email us at ourtruecrimepodcast@gmail.com. If you really like the show, make sure to check out our Patreon at Our True Crime Podcast. Our True Crime Podcast is an OTC production. Kerry Kujawa is a... No, I'm going to say that again. Hold on. Kerry Kujawa. Yeah, that's right. Kerry Kujawa. Sounds like... It doesn't sound right that I'm saying it, but it is right, I think. Kerry Kujawa. It's a story of my life, man.
Words are hard. They're almost as hard as math.
I'm telling you. Decomposed so much that they were unable to even tell the ace or rage. It's supposed to be age or race. God. Woo! I'm on fire.
Age or race.
Whatever.
That's okay. I was texting somebody today and I was putting, if only she would realize, and I put, if monkey would realize. Which works out.
I told you my new rule. I'm so sick of the phone autocorrect. I'm not doing it. If people don't know me and they can't tell what I mean, that's on them. I'm tired of fixing it. And
yeah,
how many times, like, there's common words and it will constantly go and fix it. No.
Like ducking?
Hello. Do people use that a lot more than the F word? I think not.
They do now. It
drives me crazy. Kenny Wayne Lockwood was arrested for the murder of Kerry Kujawa. Sorry.
Kenny or Kerry?
Kerry says too many cases here. Kerry, Kenny, Kelly, Kerry again. Like, come on.
I know.
Right? Sorry.
Everybody go check it out. Subscribe.
Everybody check it out. Check it out.
Check it out.
Check it.
All right. That's all I've got. Because I can't remember anything.
That's...
Seriously, I have been brain dead ever since my, the oral surgery that I had, which,
went to your head.
I'm serious. I think all the drugs that they gave, the drugs they gave me wiped out my memory and I'm living in the Matrix now.
That's terrible.
Uh-huh. No, I've just been, it's that whole thing, the whole, not doing anything. I think my brain just turned even more jellyish.
I know.
So starting tomorrow, man, I've got to start doing
nothing
things
again.
I have to.
It'll be the same Groundhog Day.
I have to start sitting around watching movies that I can remember is what I have to do.
Go check out the one I told you.
I will.
And then,
Hi, I'm Jules from Riddle Me That True Crime. I have a PhD in transpersonal counseling and am obsessed with all things crime and psychology. I focus on unsolved cases. I typically cover one case over a month, like I recently did with the case of Robert Wone. I had a microbiologist and forensics expert, as well as a criminologist, analyze the evidence, and they came to very different conclusions. One believed Robert was murdered by one or all three of the men present in the home, and the other believed it was an outside intruder. 2020 has been a strange year. If you're looking for a deep dive into some of your favorite unsolved cases with the assistance of experts, then look no further. Check out Riddle Me That True Crime wherever you listen to your podcasts.